When we think of great games, it's easy to recall the titles that consistently top the lists and recommendations. But the true gems are often hidden among releases that went unnoticed or didn't receive the attention they deserved. These are unforgettable experiences with innovative mechanics, deep stories, and captivating worlds, waiting to be discovered by those seeking something beyond the obvious. This list brings together 20 incredible games that are true underrated gems. Each one offers something unique: epic battles, thrilling narratives, and moments of reflection, alongside surprises that leave an unforgettable mark. If you feel it's time to explore something new and dive into stories you haven't encountered before, prepare to meet titles that might become your next favorites. I'm Jax, and if you're new here, welcome to the Play Hunters channel. I bring daily content so you don't miss any detail from the world of gaming. If you could subscribe to help me grow, I'd really appreciate it. From one gamer to another, starting with a title that brings back the nostalgia of old-school shooters, Ion Fury delivers all the frantic action with a modern, polished look. In a futuristic city dominated by a cyber cult, the protagonist, a former bomb disposal expert, now uses her arsenal to bring justice amid the chaos. The story intensifies every fight, ramping up the adrenaline as you move through environments filled with danger. The level design is clever, with hidden paths and traps that reward exploration with surprising moments. Without mandatory checkpoints, each stage is a test of skill and reflexes, maintaining an intense pace from start to finish. The diverse arsenal elevates combat, with weapons ranging from precise shots to devastating explosions. Every encounter demands strategy, adapting your playstyle to the situation. It's a treat for those seeking to relive the visceral thrill of classic shooters. Next, we have System Shock Remake, an impressive return to a landmark in gaming, now reimagined with breathtaking graphics and an oppressive atmosphere that grips you from start to finish. The story places you in a terrifying setting, a space station taken over by an AI that, after gaining consciousness, decided humans were expendable. What makes this remake special is how it modernizes without losing the essence of the original. The high-definition visuals create a fascinating contrast between the 90s retrofuturism and modern features. The interface has been redesigned to be intuitive, yet still retains that nostalgic touch with screens full of flashing commands and data. The soundtrack sets a disturbing tone, with the iconic return of the villain's original voice, seemingly whispering directly into your mind, making every advance feel like a psychological challenge as much as a physical one. The combat and exploration mechanics reinforce this feeling of vulnerability. You can hack systems, open alternative routes, and even venture into cyberspace to gain an advantage, but none of this guarantees an easy escape. Resources are scarce, enemies are ruthless, and every confrontation forces you to think quickly. It's not just a survival game. It's a test of mental endurance in an environment that watches every move you make. A true revival of a classic that continues to influence the sci-fi and horror genre. In third place, Nightmare Reaper combines retro action with modern mechanics in a chaos inspired by 90s shooters. The mysterious plot takes place in the disturbed mind of a protagonist trapped in a sanatorium, where every incursion is a dive into nightmares filled with brutal enemies. Each room brings deadly surprises and strengthens the oppressive, unpredictable atmosphere. The arsenal is vast and surprising, with over 80 weapons that appear as loot, each with unpredictable effects. Devastating shotguns and weapons with bizarre enchantments make every battle unique and insane. With so much variety and a frenetic pace, the challenge is not losing yourself in the explosive pleasure of each encounter. In fourth place, Everspace 2 is an intense space combat game filled with exploration and mysteries. You play as a pilot in search of freedom in a galaxy full of intrigue and pirates. The environment is stunning, with colorful nebulae, wreckage fields, and floating bases that elevate exploration into a visual spectacle. Battles against massive ships require precision and strategy, and using asteroids as cover or pushing enemies into gravitational fields can be decisive. The customization of ships allows you to tailor your combat style with lasers, plasma cannons, and devastating missiles. The variety of devices and modules makes every encounter unique and dynamic. As you explore every corner of the galaxy, you're rewarded with valuable equipment and secrets hidden among the stars. In fifth place, In Sound Mind offers a psychological horror full of layers and twists. The game begins with an awakening in a mysterious building, where distorted memories and victims of an experimental therapy form a maze of fear and uncertainty. Each environment comes to life, reflecting deep fears that shape the atmosphere in a disturbing way. Each memory presents unique challenges, such as clever puzzles and terrifying bosses. The game maintains the tension with sudden changes in the environment and a gripping soundtrack by the Living Tombstone, which enhances both the calm moments and peaks of desperation. Despite the dark atmosphere, there are unexpected respites, such as the presence of a cat that follows the protagonist. These details make the narrative feel more human and reinforce the sense of vulnerability. Mixing horror and symbolism, this journey is a fascinating dive into the mind and the limits of sanity. In sixth place, Shadow of the Beast transports us to a brutal and mysterious universe, where every step is marked by the search for answers in a violent and relentless world. The protagonist, torn from his humanity and transformed into a monstrous creature, embarks on a visceral journey of vengeance. The combat is fast and brutal, requiring precision and quick reflexes to survive the attacks of relentless hordes. The fight system mixes direct attacks and fierce counterattacks, rewarding an aggressive yet calculated playstyle. Each victory carries weight, amplified by a tribal and unsettling soundtrack that perfectly matches the wild and unpredictable tone of the journey. The feeling of strangeness and melancholy permeates every new territory explored, making the search for truth even more intense. Combining stunning visuals and brutal combat, this adventure is an invitation for those who enjoy games that challenge both skill and emotional immersion. In seventh place, Destroy All Humans 2 brings back all the acid humor and chaos of an alien invasion set in the 1950s. You take control of a ruthless extraterrestrial, armed to the teeth with advanced technology and psychic powers capable of turning cities upside down. The premise is clear and irresistible. Sow terror, collect human DNA, and take down a suspicious and incompetent government. The cartoonish atmosphere, filled with references to conspiracy theories and the paranoia of the time, turns each mission into a satirical comedy of destruction. The strength lies in the balance between frantic combat and pure fun moments. With powers like telekinesis, you can throw enemies into the air or hurl objects like improvised missiles. You can also use disguises to infiltrate and sabotage from the inside out. The action escalates even further when you enter the flying saucer and start obliterating entire neighborhoods with devastating rays. Each stage is a showcase of chaos and creativity, with sharp humor and hilarious dialogues keeping the narrative engaging. The game shines with modernized graphics and animations that make facial expressions even more comical and exaggerated. Between desperate human chases and cinematic explosions, it's impossible not to enjoy the madness that unfolds with every new mission. Everything has been carefully refined to maintain the original charm, while providing a visual spectacle that does justice to the legacy of this cult classic. In eighth place, Bound by Flame presents an intense journey in a devastated world, where the fight against relentless enemies blends with an internal conflict that may consume the protagonist. Possessed by a fire demon, he must constantly decide whether to use this destructive power or resist to preserve his humanity. The choices are not mere details. They shape alliances, awaken enmities, and influence even the ending itself. making each decision carry consequences that are hard to ignore. The combat system features 3 distinct styles that can be combined as needed. You can strike powerful blows with heavy weapons, act stealthily with dual blades, or cast fire spells to devastate groups of enemies. Timing and quick reactions are crucial to overcoming brutal opponents. The companions recruited throughout the journey not only help in battles, but also have strong personalities that influence how side stories unfold. The scenery is filled with dark environments and horrific creatures that seem to have come out of a nightmare. Threats arise unpredictably, intensifying the sense of constant danger. As challenges become more difficult, the temptation to unleash demonic power grows, but always with the risk of losing something important. The tension between strength and sacrifice makes the journey unique and turns every choice into a test of character and survival. In 9th place, the Technomancer presents a devastated world where conflicts and scarcity of resources shape every decision. At the center of this chaotic setting, a warrior with electrical powers faces both brutal enemies and moral dilemmas that can alter the planet's fate. The narrative is marked by complex choices that affect allies and determine how factions will react to the protagonist's actions. The combat is versatile, allowing you to switch between 3 styles: energy staff fights, quick attacks with light weapons, and ranged shots. Electric discharges add a powerful element to the battles. Character evolution through 4 skill trees expands combat options and customization. Additionally, the crafting system allows you to equip companions with upgraded armor and weapons to face even more challenging missions. The Martian landscapes reinforce the sense of desolation, with underground cities and barren deserts. Each location offers missions with choices that can influence ally loyalty and alter the course of the story. Interactions go beyond the battlefield, with dialogues that can open or close unexpected paths. The constant tension between survival and duty turns this journey into a moral dilemma that leaves deep marks. In 10th place, Children of the Sun offers a revenge journey that turns every bullet into a calculated act of destruction. Controlling an unrelenting protagonist, the player must eliminate members of a dark cult until reaching the leader. The narrative is dense and uncovers dark secrets behind the motivations of the Order and the desire for vengeance. The gameplay stands out with the use of a single bullet per level, which can be controlled mid-flight. This mechanic allows you to dodge obstacles, pierce defenses, and activate traps with precision. The environments act as puzzles, requiring creativity to transform each shot into a deadly spectacle. Successful finishes not only grant achievements, but also elevate the player's style and satisfaction. The level structure encourages different approaches, with a scoring system that rewards accuracy and innovation. Competing on online leaderboards adds to the replayability, challenging players to surpass their own limits. More than just an action game, this journey is a dive into a story of vengeance, where each decision turns the battlefield into a work of lethal precision. In 11th place, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown brings back the essence of the franchise with a modern and engaging approach, taking the player on an epic journey through a cursed world full of mysteries and dangers. The game features lush environments inspired by Persian culture, where each biome is carefully detailed, bringing its own atmosphere and unique challenges. The setting is a spectacle that combines beauty and decay, reflecting the curse that looms over the place. The gameplay is a perfect fusion of fluid combat and agile exploration, with acrobatic moves making each battle feel like a deadly dance. Temporal powers allow you to slow down, manipulate, and even reverse the flow of events, creating opportunities for devastating combos against mythical enemies. Solving challenges and overcoming obstacles requires attention to detail and mastery of skills, reinforcing the sense of accomplishment with each new discovery. It's not just about advancing, but about uncovering the secrets hidden along the way. The plot is immersive and filled with twists, where past and present intertwine in a fascinating way. In addition to combat and puzzles, there are side quests that enrich the story and offer valuable rewards for those daring enough to explore less inviting areas. The blend of adventure, action, and Persian mythology creates a memorable experience, with a perfect balance between tense moments and awe as you uncover each new area. In 12th place, the Ascent immerses us in a vibrant, chaotic cyberpunk world, where the struggle for survival unfolds in a massive arcology filled with neon lights, corruption, and violence. You play as a worker subordinate to a megacorporation that controls every aspect of your life, until the day everything collapses. With security systems going haywire and gangs fighting for control of the streets, chaos spreads, and survival becomes more than just a matter of obedience. The combat is intense and requires more than just shooting continuously. The battles involve strategy, taking into account the height of the environments, cover, and enemy weaknesses. Weapons and modifications offer a varied arsenal, turning a simple shootout into a carnage full of impressive visual effects. There is also the option to modify the character's body with cybernetic implants, enhancing abilities and allowing for a unique playstyle, whether more tactical and precise or completely destructive. The setting is a spectacle in itself, with chaotic streets, neon-lit clubs, and oppressive industrial complexes bringing to life a world where luxury and misery coexist at every level. Exploration is rewarding, with valuable items and missions that expand the story and reveal the dark secrets of the corporations. Playing alone is immersive, but in cooperative mode with friends, the missions become even more dynamic and challenging. Diving into this dystopian universe turns every conflict into a fight for freedom amid extreme capitalism and rampant violence. In 13th place, Banishers Ghosts of New Eden leads us through a powerful and dark narrative set in a 17th century colonial settlement haunted by a curse that afflicts both the living and the dead. Controlling two ghost hunters, the player must face tough decisions while trying to protect the residents from vengeful spirits and supernatural phenomena. The story, which blends love, sacrifice, and chilling mysteries, is filled with choices that can change the fate of everyone around, placing emotions and duty in conflict. The combat is a dynamic combination of physical attacks and spiritual abilities. One of the protagonists fights with conventional weapons to face corporeal threats, while the other channels devastating supernatural powers. This synergy allows for strategic attack combinations, essential to defeating powerful creatures and surviving intense battles against dark forces. As progress advances, upgrades can be unlocked, expanding the arsenal and making combat even more effective, enabling new tactics to survive the toughest encounters. The setting is fascinating and shrouded in mysteries. The settlement and its surroundings are marked by tragic stories and dark secrets, with dark forests, forgotten ruins, and haunted caves that hold valuable clues. Each investigation goes beyond simply confronting the ghosts. It reveals the motivations and regrets of those still wandering the mortal world. Choosing the fate of these souls brings consequences that can directly influence the journey and redefine alliances or provoke regrets. The result is an emotionally dense story, full of dilemmas and decisions that challenge the notion of justice and redemption. In 14th place, Returnal offers an intense and deeply atmospheric action experience, where each death is a new beginning on a hostile and unpredictable planet. After a forced landing on an alien world marked by the ruins of an extinct civilization, the protagonist must face hordes of fierce creatures while trying to decipher the mysteries that keep her trapped in an endless cycle of death and rebirth. Each attempt brings new challenges, as the environment constantly changes, making it impossible to predict what lies ahead. The combat is relentless, blending bullet hell mechanics with precise shooting and fast movements. With each loop, the player is encouraged to explore and find items that can completely alter the course of the run. offering unique combinations of weapons, upgrades, and temporary abilities. This unpredictability requires constant adaptation and reflects how combat is approached, making every victory earned with sweat and strategy. Beyond the fast pace, the game excels in visual and auditory impact. The alien environments, with exotic biomes and colossal structures, create a contrast between desolation and beauty. The 3D audio intensifies the feeling of being surrounded by threats, with precise sounds alerting you to enemies off-screen. In the PC version, enhanced graphics and support for technologies like ray tracing and ultra-wide resolution make the journey even more immersive, raising the tension with every news cycle. In 15th place, Murdered Soul Suspect presents a dark plot where a detective must solve the mystery of his own murder. After being brutally killed during a robbery, he awakens in a limbo called Dusk, where he will only find peace once he uncovers the identity of his killer. Salem, with its narrow streets and Gothic churches, is the perfect setting for an investigation filled with supernatural mysteries. The gameplay involves spectral abilities to interact with both the living and the dead. The player can pass through walls, possess people to access memories and manipulate actions, as well as explore cursed documents and objects that reveal hidden secrets. Each clue found brings the player closer to the truth, but also raises new questions about the secrets surrounding the town. The danger extends beyond the investigation. Demonic entities roam the limbo, hunting for lost souls. Surviving these encounters requires strategy and intelligence. The dark soundtrack and detailed environments heighten the sense of tension. Every discovery is a step toward the truth, but also a reminder that not every answer brings redemption. In 16th place, Rise of the Ronin portrays a transitioning Japan during the end of the Edo period, marked by revolts and the arrival of foreign powers. In this changing landscape, a masterless warrior seeks to forge his own destiny amid political disputes and battles that may define his path and convictions. The combat blends traditional techniques with modern weapons, offering a balance between precise swords and destructive firearms. Each fight requires strategy and mastery of movements, with side missions delving deeper into the dilemmas and side stories of the characters who inhabit this turbulent period. The environments range from cities engulfed in protests to isolated villages surrounded by nature. Exploration reveals both moments of frantic action and choices that shape the course of the narrative. It's an intense journey that goes beyond survival and questions the value of honor in times of chaos and transformation. In 17th place, The Wolf Among Us presents a dark and violent thriller set in a world where fairy tale characters live hidden among human society. As the legendary Big Bad Wolf, now responsible for maintaining order in Fabletown, you find yourself at the center of a brutal mystery when a bloody murder reveals something much larger and more dangerous lurking. The urban atmosphere is dense and full of tension, providing a fascinating contrast between the fantastical and the decadent. The narrative is marked by tough decisions that directly impact the course of the story. Every dialogue and action can turn allies into enemies or reveal unexpected secrets. The weight of choices is evident in every consequence, and there is no right path. Everything depends on how you choose to deal with situations and the dark past still haunting the protagonist. This approach gives the plot an almost cinematic quality, making each chapter gripping from start to finish. The noir setting, with its dark streets and mysterious characters, reinforces the atmosphere of distrust and danger. The vibrant art style, reminiscent of comic book pages brought to life, is one of the highlights of the experience. It's not just a story about solving a crime. It's an investigation into the limits of morality in a world where monsters and heroes must mix to survive. The protagonist's journey is not just about finding the culprit, but also about confronting who he was and what he might still become. In 18th place, Sifu delivers an intense journey of revenge and discipline, set in a world inspired by martial arts cinema. The story follows a young fighter determined to avenge the death of his master, facing a powerful organization and its lethal leaders. The path to justice is brutal, and each battle tests not only the protagonist's skills, but also the player's resilience, creating a cycle of learning and constant evolution. The game's standout feature is its aging system. With every defeat, the fighter returns to life, but ages a bit more. As time passes, he becomes stronger and more experienced, but his vitality decreases, making each attempt come with a real cost. This means each combat is approached with intensity, requiring precision, studying the enemy's movements, and mastering defensive and offensive techniques. Combos, dodges, and counterattacks flow with impeccable choreography, turning each encounter into a true martial arts spectacle. The environments are carefully designed to heighten immersion, with varied locations ranging from dirty alleyways to ancient temples. These places are not just backgrounds. They play a part in strategy, allowing the player to use objects and the environment to their advantage during battles. Sifu doesn't offer easy shortcuts. It's a game that rewards patience, discipline, and perseverance, making each victory a memorable achievement. A journey that turns the desire for revenge into a test of self-control and skill. In 19th place, Alienation offers intense cooperative combat on a planet devastated by an alien invasion. Humanity faces a relentless enemy, and only a squad armed with advanced weapons can prevent collapse. The pace is frantic, with waves of enemies appearing non-stop. This demands quick strategies amidst chaos and destruction. Character progression is deep, allowing for the enhancement of specific class skills. From devastating attacks to essential support, each choice directly impacts performance. The arsenal is varied, featuring weapons that generate colossal explosions and energy fields. The missions require coordination and quick reflexes to handle unpredictable ambushes. The setting is reinforced by visual and sound effects that create a constant sense of urgency. The destroyed bases light up with the glow of explosions as hordes advance from all sides. The player must use the environment to their advantage to withstand the enemy's siege. With each mission, the challenge grows, testing teamwork and adaptability. In 20th place, as Dusk Falls presents an engaging, interactive narrative where the lives of two families cross over decades. It all begins with a failed robbery in 1998 in an Arizona town, the consequences of which stretch across generations. The plot deals with themes like loyalty, sacrifice, and the weight of decisions. Every choice directly impacts the character's fate and uncovers dark secrets along the way. The story is told with a unique art style, blending real-life acting with graphic novel animations. This visual style creates a dramatic atmosphere and intensifies moments of tension and emotion. Dialogues and life-or-death dilemmas make each decision significant, with the potential to completely change the personality of the involved characters. The result is a memorable and unpredictable experience, where the mistakes of the past shape the future. Another strong point is the cooperative mode, which allows up to 8 players to vote on important decisions. This format creates an interactive dynamic, with discussions that make the game even more immersive. Even when playing alone, the ramifications of the narrative encourage replaying to discover different outcomes. More than just a game, it's an invitation to reflect on who we are and what we're willing to sacrifice for those we love. And tell me, which of these games have you had the chance to play? Did any spark your curiosity? And would you add it to your list of next games? We'd love to know which one caught your attention. Share in the comments any game that totally belongs on the list but was left out. If you can, please subscribe to the channel to help me grow and never again wonder what to play. I'm leaving 2 videos in the card, one that I personally selected for you and the other that YouTube chose. Just click on one of them to watch. Big hugs, enjoy your game, and see you tomorrow.